Hey guys, welcome to GothamChess. Hope you're having a fantastic day and welcome to How to Play the Vienna. This will be a mini series with around 4 to 5 episodes where we will discuss the Vienna opening in detail. So, let's begin. E4, E5, and in this position, instead of playing the traditional move of knight to F3, we will play the move of knight to C3, and this is known as the Vienna. From this point onwards, black has 3 main ways to play. We have knight to f6, called as the Falkbeer variation, knight to c6, which is called as the Max Lange defense, and then finally we also have bishop to c5, which is the Anderson defense. This video will be about knight to f6 and we play the move of f4. This is called as the Vienna Gambit, which is by far one of the most aggressive and successful gambits for white ever. So, in the first part of the video, we will discuss what if black takes or defense with the pawn or the knight. The main line, however, is the move of d5. I will discuss that in a separate video because it is a whole new minefield of its own. It requires a lot of study in my opinion, and also, like, if you are a beginner watching this video, you can skip the next episode because I don't really think anyone below like 1700, 1800 would even know the move of d5, let alone how to play it. So yeah, so let's start with the obvious question, why can't black just take us? Here, we play the move of e5. This knight is helpless, it can't come to this diagonal and neither can come to the center of the board. So the natural response should be knight to g8 and developing the knight. Here, we need to be worried about this check because one demerit of playing the move of f4 is we are weakening the stack squares around the king. So we will first of all play the move of knight to f3, covering that. And then following something like d6, we can play the move of d4, defending our pawn and opening a vision on this pawn. When black takes, we have two choices. Bishop to b5 check is a trappy variation that basically relies on a small trap. It goes something like this. After the move of c6, we can just drop back. We will gambit this pawn and funnily enough, we won't know the knight. We just go here. We have developed everything basically. And even though we are gambiting a whole knight, taking this is a huge mistake because bishop takes f7 is a killer move. This king is helpless. It can't take because the queen will be lost. It will be a deflection tactic. So king to e7 is the most sensible move. Now, we would love to play the move of bishop to g5. However, the knight just comes out and we are losing. So here we play the move of queen to e2 check. Now this king basically has to take. There's no other choice. And after the king takes, here we play the move of knight to e5 check. If the king moves anywhere into the e file, it's just a simple discovered check and we win the queen. So for that reason, the king has to remain in this area. It also cannot come here because that just walks into this. For example, if the black plays the move of king to f6, bishop to g5, king has to take and we have a family fork. And this king is on g5, so I guess you will win the position within like a couple of moves. So let's go back. So that's a trap that you can rely on. It basically relies on this whole trick of black actually playing the move of c6 and falling for this whole variation. It could work in lower levels, but the move I prefer the most when I'm playing actual games is the move of queen to e2. I think this is a lot more rigid and solid. The point is, black cannot take us anymore. Like, black cannot take us. We are pinning the pawn to the king. And here, it's just a waiting game because, see, we have so much pressure in the center of the board. We can take this pawn. We can take this pawn because the king can't take us. We are having so much open lines to attack. We can bring the queen out this way, attacking this diagonal. We can move our knight out. We can castle on the queen side. This bishop comes out suddenly and we have a long side castle with the rook standing on the d file. So, nevertheless, this is a very dangerous position for black to be in because after bishop to e7, for example, here, d takes on e5, we are still controlling the center very well. Next move would be simple, bishop takes on f4 or even bishop to b2, sorry, bishop to d2. Something like to c6 will be seen. Here, there are two main choices. You can play bishop takes on f4 or the more calm move of bishop to d2 and just castle on queen side. I like to take the pawn right away and then bring the rook this way because I would like to castle on the king side eventually and bring a rook to the f file. So yeah, this is a very good position for us. I hope you understand that right away. Let's go back. That's if knight to g8 happens on the board. Black also has a small trick. They can try the move of queen to e7, pinning our pawn to the king. Here, we just replicate that with queen to e2. Now, again, the knight has to depart because there is no other choice for them. And here, after something like knight to g8, we continue the move knight to f3. We still don't want to have this check in the diagonal. And here is a critical moment. Now, the thing is, from Black's perspective, the presence of this pawn is kind of disturbing for you. Like, it's just cutting a development off. You can't bring this knight out. It's very frustrating for you. So, a common move here is the move of d6, and it loses on this. It's only the 6th move of the game, yet it's already plus 5.3 in the engine evaluation. That's because of a move knight to d5. Such a killer move. The point is quite simple. We are attacking the queen and c7 square. Queen to e6 does not make sense. Obviously, it's just death. So the most common move you'll see is just queen to d8 or queen to d7. However, this does not stop the threat yet, because knight takes e7 anyway. The point is, after queen takes e7, we have e takes d6 check, and we win the queen by force. And even a toddler will win this position because, yeah, we are up a queen. What can I do in 8 moves? Let's go back. That's one thing. Our choice in this position will be the move of knight to c6. Here, continue with d4. And again, if black plays the move of d6, we have knight to d5. Still the same story. The queen has to move, we still sacrifice, and basically win the queen. So yeah, that was this variation. Let's go back a bit, all the way to this position. So that is all that can happen after black takes. Black doesn't need to take, right? Black can also play something like knight to c6. If black does play knight to c6, defending the pawn, simply take it. The point is, black will recapture, and here we play a move of d4. This is like a Halloween gambit, however, we still have a knight. So yeah, it's good for us. The point being, after the knight retreats to c6 or g6, whatever black chooses, we are going to push for e5. Now, this knight is helpless once again. It can't come into center anywhere. Like, it has to go back. And knight to f3. We have 2 pieces developed. We have 2 pawns in the center of the board. The bishop can come out at any point. This bishop can jump out as well. We can move our queen up and castle on the queen side, or castle on the king side where I have a rook in the open f file, pressuring the long-term thing. So yeah, this is a massive thing. And in this point, actually, black basically has only one sensible move, which is actually very hard to find. That move is d5. Black basically must play d5 to keep the game going. Anything else would be already plus 1 or 2 for white in the evaluation part. The point is, you are covering this long diagonal, and black is not concerned about me taking on pawn because just bishop takes on d6. So don't do that. Just develop with bishop to b5 and just wait from there. Bishop to d3, bishop to b5. You can cast on the king side or the queen side as per your wish. So that was knight to c6. Another choice, which is the most solid way to play, in my opinion, is the move of d6. Now, this is a lot more rigid for black, in my opinion. So there is no immediate death. However, we can put more pressure with the move of knight to f3. This is the point of the Vienna, actually. The Vienna, you are delaying the development of your knight because you would, in most cases, prefer to put it behind your f pawn. So yeah, knight to f3, knight to c6 is the most common move. And here, we have a lot of ideas. Something like bishop to b5 is the best move for us. The point is basically we are pinning this knight to the king. Bishop to d7 is by far the most sensible option. We can just continue with d3. The reason we are not playing d3 right here is because we don't want to close our bishop in. So playing d3 here would mean no scope for our bishop. So we will play the move of bishop to b5, and then we'll play the move of d3. Restructuring our center, and then something like bishop to e7, black trying to castle. We can just take the big knight. After bishop takes, we have a knight in the center of the board. E takes on f5, d takes f5, and knight takes e5. This is a good position for us. We are up a pawn. We have an open line. We can castle on the king side, and have a rook staring at this file where I assume black is going to castle. This bishop can come out to the g5 square or some trouble. Our queen can move along f3 and to h3. We can do a rook lift and get this rook here, and it's going to be a massive grooming attack for us. So that's one thing. What else can happen? Knight to f3. Bishop to g4 is a move. It will be seen at lower levels most likely because it's not as good as a move, to be honest. Here, just play the move of h3. Going back is brain dead, so that's not on the table. Going here is also brain dead because simple g4 wins the bishop. So black will most likely take, and then we have queen takes on f3. Knight to c6 is the most sensible move. And again, we don't want black to come with the move of knight to d4. So for that reason, we play the move of bishop to b5, once again pinning it. And when black defends it, we can play the move of f takes on e5 and d takes e5, get rid of the knight, d takes, t3, restructure the center of the board, and then we can just castle on either side as per our wish, bring our knight out, and we have a good game from there on. So yeah, that was the move d6. Now, admittedly, we are not done yet because so far whatever we have learned has been the bad things for black. If you are a beginner watching this video, I'll just give a brief introduction of the d5 variations. This is not a natural move. Let me start with that. This is not a natural move. This is the main line. So, unless black has actively studied the Vienna theory, or black is like 1500 something like that, there is no chance they play this variation, because the point is after e takes on f5, we have knight takes, and from here on the opening branches out into various branches. We have knight to f3, which is the main line. We have the modern variation with d3, which I personally play. We also have queen to f3, which is the pulse on attack. And for every response we have, black has 3 or 4 ways to play, which is the reason why I am not touching this specific variation in this video. If you are a beginner watching this video, the best thing you can do is just bring the queen out. Black will trade us. Just recapture like this. Put the pawn here. Put the bishop out behind the pawn. Knight to e2. Bishop to e3. Castle on the king side. Rook on the b file. And then attack on the king side. That's a 2-minute setup for you. However, I don't really believe it's sufficient for higher rated players. So if you are someone who is like a bit higher, like 1200 watching this video, stay tuned for tomorrow's episode where we will go in depth, all in into this specific variation with d5. I will give you all the weapons, knight to f3, d3, and the queen f3 included as part of it. So I think you'll have a lot more choices to play and experiment with. So yeah, that was it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If so, show your support by liking the video down below. It just takes hardly a couple of seconds of your time and it supports the channel massively. Also, we are very close to 600 subscribers. So, time for support. We just hit 500 just a day ago. So, yeah, it's great for me. I love you guys so much. If you have any more suggestions or ideas, let me know in the comment section below. I do read every single comments I receive and respond to them promptly. So, yeah, stay tuned. Bye.